What's going on, guys? Christian Hanna Horror here today. We're talking about Scream Factory's Blu-ray release of Sleepwalkers, as well as a short, spoiler-free review of the movie. I just love this movie so much. I had never seen it before. I own a DVD of it, got it years ago, and I just never popped it in, and I'm really sad that I didn't because I had a blast with Sleepwalkers. I thought it was such a fun movie. It's a Stephen King movie, but I don't believe it was a book. I believe he just wrote the screenplay for this. Sleepwalkers is a 1992 horror film directed by Mick Garris, who you may remember from Critters 2. You may remember him from, I think he did the Stand TV movie. He also did Psycho 4, which absolutely fantastic movie. That's a video for a different day. The story about how Mick got the job is interesting because he initially didn't get the job. He was passed over for a different director, but funnily enough, when he interviewed for the job, he said, everybody told me, oh, we love you, you're great for the project. Stephen King likes you because she had director approval. And he goes, we got to interview this other guy as a formality. And he said he gets a call a few days later, and they said, no, we're going to go with the other guy. But unfortunately, I think that gentleman wanted to take the story in a completely different direction, and because Stephen King had director approval, I don't think Stephen was a fan of that, so they went back to Mick and basically said, look, we need you back, you should have done this anyway. So Sleepwalkers is this interesting little movie about this mother and this son couple, and the opening scene is interesting because you get to see the son, and he's got this little erotic, old song playing on his turntable, and he goes down to his mom, and the mom, it's interesting because she acts kind of feline. She's very touchy-feely with the son, which they establish early on. I'm talking they establish by him saying mom that they're a mother and son, but their relationship is very strange. They're kissing each other, and they're lovey-touchy, and you know, though, that these people are not... You find out right off the bat, they're not human. They're what they call sleepwalkers. They're these shapeshifters. And it gets interesting right off the bat, but you go with it. While it's very strange, you understand that, okay, we're not looking at regular human beings here. So you get introduced next to she stole the show. She was fabulous in the her name slips my mind because it's very strange. It's not like an American name. She was a star in Twin Peaks. We get introduced to her character, and her character's name is Tanya, and we get to see her. Mick had this great idea to do to an opening scene of her in the movie theater dancing, and they play a song, "Do You Love Me?" and she's dancing to it. Great way to open her character up into the movie. The scene was very fun to watch, and you get behind her character instantly, which is something I gotta say Mick did a fantastic job in this movie. Is introduction to each character was perfect because you get to learn about them right off the bat by what they say, where they are, and you get to establish very early on, okay, yeah, I'm into this person, or no, I want to see that person be harmed, if you know what I mean. So Tanya's character takes an interest in Charlie, the son, who is the shapeshifter, because he's charming, he's nice, and she finds out that things aren't all great with this guy, and the pursuit happens. I'll kind of leave it at that. One big element in this movie is cats, which is, I guess, a trait kind of Stephen King. We saw that in Pet Sematary. This is, if you're not a fan of cats, this may not be your movie because there are a lot of cats in here. But I gotta give Mick credit because every scene with the cats, or the main cat, who we know as Clovis in the movie, Clovis, you'll notice a big role for that cat in the movie. Every scene with the cats, which must have been painstaking and hard to do, you understood what was going on. It wasn't just a scene where a cat's moving around and you say, okay, cat's in this movie. You understand what the cats are thinking and wanting to do in this movie by the way the cinematography shows them, the way Mick had the cats looking this way. So that's a challenge. It's always a challenge having animals in a movie, and Mick did a fantastic job with that. There's about 5 or 6% campiness in it, but it never is to the point where you're like, oh, okay, this is a little ridiculous. There's some great characters. Clovis's owner, who was the main policeman that you get introduced to, he is funny. He steals the show. His little relationship with his cat Clovis. He gets into this high-speed pursuit with the main sleepwalker Charlie, the son. And while he's in this speed chase with them, he's talking to Clovis, looking at him like it's his partner or something. It's funny, but it never gets ridiculous. The camp was perfect. Interestingly enough, too, about Tanya's character was her parents in the movie were actually a real husband and wife. And I believe they were actually Ferris Bueller's parents in the movie. So their performance was fantastic. They gelled well together, and their back and forth was so authentic because they were husband and wife. So I'll keep the review spoiler free about what happens in the movie because I want you guys to see the movie. But basically, the pursuit happens to Tanya with the Sleepwalkers, and they have something from her they want, which you'll find out. I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what I think about the cinematography and the special makeup effects. Cinematography was perfect. Cinematography is a big unsung hero in film, and I mean, watch a movie with bad cinematography and you'll always learn to appreciate it. Like, watch a movie with terrible lighting, watch a movie with just boring, drawn-out shots. This movie tells its story from cinematography. The cinematography was superb. I don't remember who did it in the film, but just a great job. Mick understands how to tell stories through the camera very well, especially, like I said, with using animals. The special makeup effects. Now, this was 92, so CGI was coming around. We saw a little bit of it in Freddy's Dead, but I don't think there was any hint of it in here. The special effects, along with the camera work, were just perfect because there were scenes where you see shape-shifting on the sleepwalker's face, Charlie, or the mother's, and it was seamless. I'm talking seamless. Like, you literally see it change, and I know how painstaking that is. It's got to be, camera's got to be same spot, actors have to be in the same frame, same position in the frame. Just painstaking, but they did a fantastic job with that. Just a seamless work. The special makeup effects looks of the Sleepwalkers when you see them in their true form, it almost reminds me of the minions from The Gate, which is a plus because I love The Gate. So that was interesting. That looked great. Mick complained that the heads were a little too large, and he wanted to go back and reduce that a little bit, which I can understand, maybe to make it look a little bit more realistic, but, you know, it's okay when we're watching a horror movie because, you know, realism is not always going to be there, especially with a movie like this, Sleepwalkers. So I understand his beef, but I kind of like it the way it is, quite honestly. It's actually got a good number of jump scares in this movie. One scene that got me was the bathroom scene with Tanya's character. I wasn't ready for it because I don't think there was a jump scare up to that point, and it was almost, you know, halfway through the movie, maybe actually a little bit longer. So when that got to me, it got me. That jump scare really got me. So, yeah, the storytelling was great. Every character in the movie serves a great purpose, and they all have an identity. Nobody seems the same. And you've got a great cast. I want to talk about this, the people in this movie. You open up with this great scene, very gruesome scene, but it's got Mark Hamill, as we know, as Luke Skywalker in the beginning, and Mark is a big sci-fi horror fan, so that was great to see him in that. You've got small scenes where you got all these horror guys together. You see Clive Barker, I believe John Landis, Stephen King, who has a great little short role, and he acted great. Like, for a second, I forgot that was him because, I mean, his acting was good. I mean, and then I realized, okay, that's Stephen King. But you've got Clive Barker, John Landis, Stephen King is in there, and maybe somebody else. Oh, and Ron Perlman has a role in this as a sheriff. And it's funny because Clive Barker's, and I don't think David Cronenberg was in it. No, it was John Landis for sure. But it was really funny because Clive Barker's very small role in the movie, he only had like 5 or 6 words because I don't think he can do a very good English accent. And the very last word of what he says, you can hear it, his accent all the way, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. So you had great little, you know, it wasn't used in a sense to where it was just like, shove it in your face, look at all these guys, because some people had somewhat of a disguise. Mark Hamill was just a fantastic actor, but he was in a different segment, but he did a great job. So while Mick, you know, did something cool like that for the fans, it was not over the top to where you just get lost in it. and say, okay, yeah, I'm just watching this movie with all these great horror icons. You know, it was short, it was sweet, and it worked. So I'll kind of leave my review of it there. Just a fantastic little movie, no complaint. As far as the Scream Factory Blu-ray goes, fantastic, because they give me, as a fan, I can only speak for me, what I want. They give me exactly what I want. They call it an interview with Mick Garris, but you know, it's really more of like a documentary, because Mick talks you through everything about how the film was made, how he almost didn't get the role, but then he did, his relationship with Stephen King, the release of Sleepwalkers. So that was great. So and then you get special makeup effects from Tony Gardner, which, you know, Tony is a fantastic special makeup effects guy, just fantastic. He's done a lot of great movies. So, you know, as far as the transfer goes, beautiful, just a beautiful looking film. So that's Sleepwalkers, guys, on Scream Factory Blu-ray. Just came out. I ordered mine off Amazon. I think after it was really released, but I was lucky enough to get the slip covers, which I love. So if you haven't gotten Sleepwalkers, guys, it's a great little Stephen King movie directed by Mick Garris. Fabulous. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about Sleepwalkers in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.